Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Very Biased Opinions. It is a midweek bonus for our Premier League predictions. I've forgotten what I'm going to say. The timestamps are down below. It's round number 24. Thomas, stop laughing and give us the first game.
It's a big one. Chelsea versus Arsenal.
Now, with this being midweek predictions, we've had to film this before we've seen any of the weekend scores. So it's going to be even more of a crapshoot than it usually is from us two. So these teams played each other recently, didn't they? It seems to be only a couple of weeks ago.
I think it was the mid-Christmas break one.
Oh, yes, because Chelsea got that last-minute turnaround, didn't they, that you enjoyed so much.
Yes.
So Arsenal, they won't have a Bang-Yang in this one. He's got a 3-game suspension, which, yes, it's going to be bad because he's the only one who seems to score goals for them, but I'm looking forward to see if Martinelli gets some game time because he's the one little bright spark of Arsenal that I kind of enjoy watching these days.
Just one player in a whole club worth watching.
Yes, that's all I see, and I kind of like David Luiz because I think he's the future great defender of England, of whole of the world of football. So. Wow, I think this one's going to be a draw. I've not got much to say about it. I think Arteta will get his Arsenal side up for this one. Both sides very, very shoddy at the back, though. I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw.
I mean, Chelsea, generally speaking, are going to ship a goal. You can't see them not against any opposition they do. They're going to be coming off a 4-1 victory over Newcastle, so again, they'll have conceded a goal, whereas Arsenal are going to become limping in, having lost 1-0 to Sheffield United.
Speculation.
It's going to be really tough for Arsenal in this game. The Chelsea blip seems to be ever so slightly over at this point. They seem to have readied the ship ever so slightly. I know how long, okay?
Nice.
They looked a lot better against Burnley, who are a side that normally can frustrate and you would think could score goals against them, but didn't. I'm going to back Chelsea in this. I think I always back Chelsea, much to my own detriment sometimes, but I can't see Chelsea not putting 3 past Arsenal, but I think it's going to be a cracker. I've got Chelsea 3, Arsenal 2.
He might not always back Chelsea, folks, but there's one thing he does, and that's never backs Arsenal. Aston Villa versus Watford.
I mean, Watford have hit form at the absolute perfect moment. They're playing everyone at the bottom of the table right now and picking up points left, right, and center. Everything is a relegation 6-pointer for them, and every week it's 6 points. They're playing incredibly well under Pearson. They look a lot better, a lot more uniform. Honestly, though, I wonder if Troy Deeney being back has a huge effect on that as well. Since he's come back and he's playing every game, he's been kind of monumental in this kind of dogged, bullfighting attitude. Like, he changes the team.
Yeah.
And having him back is huge. Villa have 1 star player in Grealish. They've had 2 serious injuries to, was it Wesley and who else was it?
The Heaton. They've actually got Pepe Reina in now, Tom.
Well, we'll have to see how 37-year-old Pepe Reina does. I mean, he's a great goalkeeper, but at this age, we'll see how he does. I can't see past Watford in this. And you know what? One interesting thing is that if Villa do go down and they spent whatever it is, £100 million, I think they're going to recoup at least half of that with a Grealish sale, because I think he's going to go to one of the big boys at the end of the season. He's just oozing talent, and he's so marketable. I can't see him not. He looks like a future England player whenever Gareth Southgate pulls his fucking finger out over this. So, I'm going to go with a Watford win. I'm going to go 2-0 to Watford.
It's giving Southgate shit. They haven't had a game for 4 months. Yeah, I mean, everything Aston Villa do that's good comes through Jack Grealish. There's such a weight of expectation on him. It's almost like all the players are almost like, just give Jack the ball. We don't want the responsibility. And it's really up to him if Villa stay up or not. It seems to be at this stage anyway. This is definitely a bigger game for Villa than it is for Watford because their form has been so good. You know, we just talked about off camera about managers not being the ones in charge anymore, not being that powerful. You get the feeling that players might fuck around with a manager at Watford, but nobody fucks with Troy Deeney. He says, you've got to be at training at 9. You are there at training at 9 o'clock. A bit like when you put your arm around him at the airport and he told you to get off me, boy.
I had the picture of him landing a blow on my cheek.
Landing a what on you?
A blow.
Oh my God. let's continue with what happened at the airport later. I have a feeling that Aston Villa are going to win this game. I don't know why. I've got no reason to. Watford are due a defeat, and I'll say Villa win 2-1.
Yeah, but you understand that if Villa win this game 2-1, Watford will lose the next 9 matches following. So you're predicting 9 more losses.
Well, they're due a new manager.
And with that said, a club that may be looking for a new manager, an AFC Bournemouth, versus a team really in need of a win, Brighton and Hove and Albion.
There's two sides that have been struggling. No one's struggling more than Bournemouth, though. They just look devoid of all confidence. And this is really their period where they've got to pick up points. I think in the last game they played Norwich, or they played them over the weekend, playing Brighton. I think they've got Villa up next. It's a really key part of the season for them where they really need to get a couple of wins, you would say. I have a feeling they might win this game, though, Tom. I don't know why. I feel that like everybody's going to be behind Eddie. Eddie's going to get a performance out of his boys, and Brighton, the bubbles just kind of burst a little bit for them. They're kind of reverting a little bit back to Houghton Brighton rather than Potter Brighton, and I think it's going to be 2-0 to Bournemouth, much to your delight.
Before I get into my Eddie Howe love, I spoke about Brighton now the last 3 weeks because I've watched quite a few of their matches. But I don't quite know what happened over the summer where they decided Glenn Murray, despite scoring 15 goals, I think, in the Premier League or something last year, wasn't good enough to lead the line.
Yeah, but they realised that Glenn Murray had just turned 48.
And yet he's still the best striker in the team. It seems like a lot of their skillful players are doing that classic thing where a club decides, right, we're going to play with the ball at our feet more, we're going to do this, and forget about the fact that that hard-working attitude that got them there, that's held them in the league, is completely sacrificed by that. Trossard, etc. Are they going to run hard enough? Are they going to play competitively enough as a team and open up? And I keep watching them, and maybe they'll beat Bournemouth, and maybe they'll win whatever this weekend against Aston Villa, but I'm not sold that this club isn't in a relegation battle. Bournemouth, the entire city seems to be behind Howe. Every single time the media try and take a pot shot saying he's the next one out, just about every single fan that writes in is like, we'd rather be relegated with Howe than stay up with Allardyce.
Yeah, there's been a lot of that. And I even don't think there's been too much bad blood from the media. I think they even realise this is a pretty unique case.
Yeah, but it's always the media that raise the question of whether he's gone. And it's, you just have to follow the BBC thread. The minute they say something about Bournemouth, so many fans write in. They're so loyal to him. And they're watching a team that maybe they shouldn't be playing out from the back, but they're going to live by the sword and die by the sword. And Eddie Howe has based his entire coaching career on that. And if they go down because they're a team of 18 to 20-year-olds at this point with like 4 senior heads left.
Yeah, but I'm just going to say there's also a little bit of like, this may be the first time where Howe's been on such an elongated bad run, and obviously injuries have played a part and they've stuck down the league, and they just go back to kind of maybe some of the transfer mistakes he's made, like Mousset going as being excellent for Sheffield United, did nothing at Bournemouth for 3 years. They signed Solanke, he's done nothing.
Yeah.
And he seems to have fallen out with like Ryan Fraser, or I'm not sure, but he doesn't seem to be anywhere near as what he was last season.
Yeah, I think Ryan Fraser, did he start the season injured? I feel like something happened with him, and then he put him right back in the team, and he just was completely ineffective, and then took him out, and it keeps like throwing him as a sub, and he's ineffective.
Yeah, they talk about as if there's a rift and whether he's had his head turned by other clubs, but I'm not too sure.
Anyway, look, I'm never going to back against Eddie. It's a silly thing to do. He always pulls out results against the big teams. Let's see him pull out a result against Brighton and Hove and Albion. 1-0 to Bournemouth.
Thomas, watch out! The Eagles are coming as Crystal Palace take on Southampton.
So these are 2 football teams.
There it is, folks. There it is.
It's really easy to tell when I lose interest because I begin by having nothing to say about either side. Ian, just lead. Now I'll follow on this one.
Southampton have been in such amazing form. You can't really pick either side as a winner in this one. Palace have got this habit of just sort of like churning out results, and you wouldn't be shocked if this one's just to kind of split the difference, 1-1 draw.
I think a draw is probably the best. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw as well. I'm trying to talk myself into something else, but...
Look at him. He's like the football version of the Racing Post, isn't he? Form, odds. He's got it all, folks.
It's going to be 1-1. They're both going to score a goal. That's it. a club not in crisis, but quite possibly in crisis. We're not really sure. Everton versus Newcastle United.
Newcastle United are not in crisis.
Oh, no, I was talking about Everton.
Oh, thank goodness. I stopped listening to you for a moment then. Newcastle United had a win over Rochdale in midweek, Tom, and booked themselves a fourth-round FA Cup tie at home against none other than Oxford United. It'll be interesting to see how the Yellows get in this one.
Okay.
But in the Premier League, Steve Bruce is just dishing out lessons. He gave Frank Lampard a lesson how to manage at the weekend. One can only assume. And he's going to do the same to this kind of fancy Dan who's come in from Italy, Ancetoli. I mean, what's he ever done in the game compared to Steve Bruce? Absolutely nothing. This guy is not only the greatest living manager today, he is the second coming of Kevin Keegan.
I will love it if we beat them.
He's revolutionised the North East, and he's going to go over to the other side of the country and get a win at Goodison Park. It's going to be Everton 0, Newcastle 2.
You know how normally our little bits last for 3-4 weeks? Sometimes, in Bristol Rovers' case, they lasted for 4 months. You are going on 6 straight months of the same speech.
Well, it kind of evolved from give Steve Bruce a chance.
It's they've been really good under him, and Everton have been better under Ancelotti, but a lot of their signings are kind of failed players at other clubs. See Theo Walcott, and they don't seem to have the fight to really raise the level. And Schneiderlin and all these guys. Poor Pickford, it must just be exhausted with the defense playing the way they are in front of him. Gone are the days.
He loves it. I think Pickford would rather play in a team where he's got 20 saves a game.
He does love it. He's an absolute nutter as well. You know what? I'm going to back Steve Bruce, because backing the dumpster fire that is Everton is just a bad idea. 2-1 to the Geordies.
See, Mike Ashley came out and watched Newcastle in the week. Steve Bruce is doing that well that even Mike Ashley came and watched it.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for liking and subscribing to Very Biased Opinions. We really appreciate it. Please keep doing it. We're on a roll right now. We're almost at 1,100, which is unthinkable. Unthinkable. It took us almost 2 years to get to 1,000, and now we're already a tenth of the way to 2,000. If that makes any sense. Please have a look below. We've timestamped everything. No one wants to listen to all this, and if you do, thank you so much. But I'm confused, honestly.
Thank you, Allen family.
Grandstand bettors, thank you, and please go look at them. We give them a pick every week, and then they pick the actual winners of football matches. We're wrong a lot. They're not. Please look at them. Please have a look at our social media. Please have a look at our website. Please just keep visiting us, writing to us, telling us stuff, commenting. All the likes genuinely are really appreciated. Please don't click thumbs down. Every time you do, an angel dies.
Yes.
And with that said, it is an angel we're going to be talking about, because Chris Wilder's Sheffield United host Manchester City.
Have we got any footage of Chris Wilder, Tom?
I think we might have footage, Ian. I think it's him sliding to celebrate a playoff victory for Oxford.
I have a feeling this might be Sheffield United's biggest defeat of the season, and I'm just basing that on the fact of when they have to play 2 games in a short space of time, it doesn't bring the best out of Chris Wilder's side. But I am only purely speculating on that, and they are quite within their rights to prove me wrong. Arsenal may not be a hard game for them whatsoever. But you just get the feeling that City are in that little groove now where winning just seems to be pretty easy for them. And I just think City will win 3-0.
I'm really hoping, because I hate Liverpool, sorry Liverpool fans, that City go on one of those runs where they win the next 14 matches and somehow Liverpool contrive to drop enough points to lose the title by 1, having been on the most historic run the Premier League has ever seen. How great would that be? It's not going to happen, but as a United fan, how great would it be if it did?
Thomas, we're both fans of Rick and Morty, and we're both fans of this multiverse of millions of different possibilities. There is not one out there in the infinite cosmos that happens.
I thought that last year when Liverpool were had the chance to go 11 clear at Christmas and then blew it in 2 months.
20 points clear.
14 points.
Oh, sorry.
On that note, if we were in Spain, the Man City manager would have been fired by now, because if you're not first, you're last. Or sometimes when you are first, you're still lost and you get sacked.
I love it.
Pep Guardiola's side are looking a lot better. Fernandinho, as we spoke about in the last video, seems to have given them a bit more solidity at the back, even if Otamendi would like to try and get himself sent off week in, week out. Even with VAR's help, it doesn't seem to happen, but whatever, it's not. Whatever. Sheffield United are going to have a hard time, because I think they'll beat Arsenal, but they're going to have to work really hard in that game because Arsenal have got running back in them, and City are going to run them ragged. I've got City to win this. I'll go one less, 2-0.
Quick side note. There was a little rumour in the week that John Stones was going to go to Arsenal on loan, and Arteta came out and dismissed it. What does that tell you about John Stones?
That he's the best defender England ever had.
Bingo. Leicester City versus West Ham United.
Yeah, it was last week that Leicester were absolutely shocked by Southampton, and the weirdest of results happened. What happened to West Ham, though? I feel like they weren't that great.
They lost to Sheffield United, but it was the VAR goal, wasn't it?
Yes. So the manager that always wins didn't always win. I don't think David Moyes is going to get a win here. Leicester have been pretty good. Losing to Southampton, you kind of feel as an aberration. I don't know why you'd back against Vardy and company in this game, and I'm not going to. I got Leicester to win this game. It's going to be pretty boring, 2-0. What's up, Ian? What did I say?
You didn't say anything wrong. I've got my head in my hands because I'm actually going to do this, and I can't believe I'm going to do this. I'm just going to lose predictions this week because I just fancy West Ham to win this game, and I don't know why. There's no logic, there's no reason. This is just absolute me pulling rubbish. I don't even know what I'm going to say. West Ham to win, 2-1.
With that said, Wolverhampton, who wander around, versus Liverpool.
Just to remind you all, we are filming this before the weekend's fixtures, so we don't know how much, or indeed how few, Liverpool beat Man United by. But one thing is for sure, without Marcus Rashford, they surely did beat them. So, what can you say? Liverpool are an unstoppable winning machine. It doesn't matter who they play against; they will win by the odd goal, and that's what's going to happen in this one. Wolves, they're having a fine season. It's not going to mean anything. Everyone loses to Liverpool. 2-1 Liverpool.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I just really like Wolves. I don't think they're going to win this game, but I think they're going to score a couple, and I think it's going to be tight. Obviously, I predicted United to beat Liverpool. You predicted a draw. If we could probably have that back, knowing Rashford won't be there, I think we both might predict a loss. I think Liverpool are coming off a win, and I think they'll win again this week. 3-2.
How highly do you rate Jordan Henderson?
Is he the Michael Carrick of his generation?
I'm just saying it because, obviously he gets a little bit. I think he's a bit underappreciated in this country because who they played in the World Club Cup final.
Yeah.
Brazilian side, I forget. I'm sorry. Flamenco, thank you. He described Henderson as the best midfielder currently in the world.
Henderson seems to... He reminds me of Michael Carrick in that he seems to go up and down. Like, 1 minute he's the best midfielder in the world. The next minute he's Jordan Henderson. The next minute he's the best midfielder in the world. He's just like the most steady Eddie player you could ask for. But he's really driven. Like, he's always there for the team. He commits the dirty fouls. Equally, he can hit the ball forward. And keep in mind that 3 years ago, he couldn't kick a ball forward. It was against his fucking DNA. It had to go backwards or left, right. I think just the way Liverpool play with the reckless abandon and the freedom to move forward, he's the perfect foil for it. He's that perfect midfield man that is one of the first in the team sheet because you know exactly what he'll do. And you know that your game plan fits around him perfectly because somebody has to be in that midfield area. And yeah, no, he's a very good midfielder, but I think when his career ends, that'll be the shock to Liverpool. That, take him for granted like Man United did with Michael Carrick, and the minute they're gone, you're like, holy shit, what a hole.
You're always a better player when you're out of the side anyway.
Yeah.
Tottenham Hotspurs versus Norwich City.
I don't really know what to make of Spurs right now, if I'm totally honest. It feels a bit like Mourinho's humble Mourinho has totally left, and he's right back to grumpy, angry, moody Mourinho, which, shock horror, the media convinced us wasn't going to happen, and it has, but he's right back to it. The advantage they have here is they're playing Norwich, and if Man United can put 3 past Norwich, anyone can put 3 past Norwich. Man United can't even kick a ball forwards. So, Son got him in with a brace, 3-0 to Spurs.
Pretty cut and dry that Spurs win this one, but they make every game so hard for themselves. That's the biggest thing. Even recently,
Gazzaniga is a waste of space.
Well, they've got to play him because they don't have any goalkeeper. Even in their FA Cup game against Middlesbrough, they were in complete control of that game. Middlesbrough were largely so poor, and then they just inexplicably concede a goal and invite this pressure on themselves. It's almost as if Mourinho, and it's almost as if they've given Mourinho just get to the end of the season. We don't even care if you finish top 4. And we'll just go again. And we'll just hope the fact that you're there and you'll bring in some big names and we can reattract. Because it just feels like everything's stale.
Yeah.
At Tottenham. And I don't know why that is. But in this one, you have to say Spurs will win. I don't think it'll be pretty. I'll go 2-0 Tottenham.
I think we've spoke about this a couple times, and I always raise it, but the lack of transfers, the lack of investment in the team, and just the general reliance on Pochettino's tactics and his motivational skills. The minute he left, they were always going to be in trouble. This is a manager that totally changed the club around. And it's foolish to think that Tottenham were a big club even 5 years ago. It doesn't bear out, right? They haven't won a trophy in over a decade. They haven't been a big team, but they now view themselves as one. But they're trying to play on a budget that makes Arsenal look like big spenders.
Yeah, and also because they're not used to winning trophies as well. He hasn't got that kind of where's our trophy? Where's our trophy? Where's our trophy?
Yeah,
they'll just always give him more time.
Yeah, it feels like an American model of a team, like a franchise. We ebb and we flow, but we're always in the league and we're always making a profit, and that's all that matters. And you look at the Forbes financial table that came out this year, and it looks like they could overtake Man United in the next couple of years because Man United are getting less and less TV revenue with the constant fact they're missing the Champions League, which is where it comes from. And yeah, they don't look like they care. And the players, it seems to have finally gotten to them now this year.
I hope you're enjoying it, Spurs fans. That new stadium's nice, isn't it? By this point in the video, we've talked about all but 2 sides. And all those other sides, they mean nothing to me. Because finally, we've got to the main event.
Manchester United versus Sean Dyche's Burnley.
Who knows whether Ollie will still be there? Who knows what happened to Man United at the weekend? But we know Burnley coming to town. It ain't going to be pretty or fun. Resident Manchester United expert Thomas Pickering is going to talk you through it.
I've kind of decided to go against Burnley until I see something positive from them, because the way they were just ripped apart by Chelsea hasn't filled me with faith. I'm betting they get beat by Leicester in the coming week. And I feel like Man United, no matter what happens to them against Liverpool, they're either going to be smarting from a loss or they're going to have won and be on a high. And there's nothing more Man United anymore than to lose the next game just to make a point. But I think they can beat this side. Burnley look bereft of ideas. Sean Dyche's kind of energy doesn't seem to be getting through to him. I don't think Pogba's back. I don't think McTominay's back. I think it's going to be like Matic and Fred in the midfield, which means it's going to be a bit of a slog. You'd like to hope Rashford's back, as it didn't seem like a serious back injury. It was more of, spasms or whatever the hell happens when you get hit. And United are going to win. It's not going to be pretty. 2-0.
Thomas, will you join me in a polite golf clap for Juan Mata's beautiful finish against Wolves?
Juan Mata, who can't get in the team no matter how well he does.
No, and even in the first half, he plays an amazing through ball to James, who keeper made a good save. But this is the sort of game, Tom, that Man United have struggled in all season. You could just see a corner coming in from Burnley, De Gea flapping at it, it hitting Harry Maguire on the backside, and Burnley going into a 1-0 lead. And then Man United just desperately trying to get back into it, but just run out of ideas. But I am going to back the Red Devils as well. I'm not going to match your score, though. I'm just going to go, I think it's going to be 1-0 to Man U, and it's going to be very much a scrape through. But that 1-0 is going to secure Ollie for 10 more years.
I'm actually pretty sure that it's very secretly under the table, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has like a 50-year contract. And they're like, publicly, we'll just say 4, but it's a lifetime. You'll be here till you're 95. We're gonna Fergie you.
Is that-
We're never letting you go.
what stand hasn't been named? Surely he's got to get one after this.
Stretford end?
Exactly. The Ole Gunnar Solskjaer end.
I've always wanted to be an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's end.
Oh my god. Oh, he's talked about Troy Deeney. Now he's talked about Solskjaer. Who won't he do in the Premier League?
It's going to be interesting to see if United get Fernandes in time for this game. They're saying he's going to play in the Lisbon derby this weekend, which means he definitely, by the sound of it, won't be there for Liverpool Man United.
Who? Fernandes?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought you said... Sorry, I misheard you. I thought you said Hernandez. I was like, what? You're getting Chicharito back?
He's back. If they are able to bring in Bruno Hernandez by the time this match is played, though, you seriously hope that they stand a better chance with him or Mata on the pitch playing some pretty through balls in. Lingard is a real question mark at Man United right now because
Get rid of him.
Solskjaer keeps playing him, and you're kind of looking at it and you're like, he either needs a break or he needs a fresh space. Like we've talked about it all for like 2 years. We love Lingard. He's a great player, but he's so off the boil right now. And he looks, I'm not saying overweight, but he's slow and he's lethargic and he doesn't seem to be able to do anything. He's not getting assists. He's not getting goals. He's barely passing the ball the right direction. And anything to get him out of the team makes Man United better.
Needs a challenge. It's all a bit too comfortable for him at Man United.
Swap him with Maddison. Send over 60 or 70 million as well. We'll call it a deal.
That will wrap it up. We've talked for far too long again on this video, but we hope you did enjoy it. And if you did, please give it a like and also think about subscribing to the channel. Thomas, do we have anything else that we could possibly add?
If you're looking for detailed football analysis, go to Grandstand Betters.